Hey, my name is Shauna Kale, and I am friends with Cody Lynn, your leader. We actually met, I think back in 2013 at one of Max and Karen's first Go Diamonds. I know she was speaking, I was speaking. I had just hit silver that year, and I actually had the opportunity to sit with her on the cruise ship when she found out she was diamond, so that was exciting, guys. So again, my name is Shauna Kale, and Cody asked me to come and speak to you guys just about business stuff, and I asked her if maybe something like Strength Finders, can you see that? Strength Finders would be good, because that is something that I have been doing with my leaders. And so just to share a little bit with you guys about myself, I am the mother of 3. I homeschool. My oldest is in college. He is 22, and my youngest is 11. My daughter is going to be a senior. She is 17. She dances. That keeps us quite busy. And like a lot of people, I got into this business as an accident. I could not keep my mouth shut talking about oils like Stress Away, and before I knew it, I had taught a class just because that's what I went to, so I thought that's what you did. I didn't know that was a business. I just thought it was educating people, and started sharing, and that's kind of how that happened. I have been a physical therapist for over 25 years. I love to learn, which is going to bring us to this right here, Strength Finders. So back when I was on my way to Silver Retreat, I'm in the airplane, and I meet Callie Shepard, who is a Royal Crown Diamond. I'm pretty sure she's a Royal Crown Diamond. She is cross-line. We just happened to meet on the plane. We both live in Oklahoma, and we were going the same direction. And she had this book right here in her hand on the plane. And so we got talking about it because I love books. And my oldest at the time was in high school, and he had no idea what he was going to do with his life. And I'll be honest, I felt like my husband and I kind of confused him a little bit that year, because both of us are physical therapists, and I had been doing this business, and at that point my husband was looking at leaving his full-time position as a director of physical therapy to not just come home, but to go away from the daily 8 to 5 job and have a little bit more freedom. His job really wasn't from 8 to 5. It was more like 6:30 in the morning till 8:30 at night, unless I went to work for him. After I homeschooled the kids, I would go over to the clinic and I would help out. So he had thought maybe about being a physical therapist, and then when he saw that we kind of weren't even doing that as much, he wasn't really sure which direction he wanted to go. So back to the airplane and Callie Shepard, she was talking about this book, Strength Finders, and how it helped her kind of just know where her strengths are, because we so often focus on our weaknesses. Am I the only one that focuses on weaknesses? And sometimes you don't even realize it, because here's the thing, we don't even realize what our strengths are, because when there are strengths, they are easy, right? So I got the book for him. He took the test, and it was amazing, because he was totally surprised by his top strengths, and I wasn't. I knew what his strengths were, and I could see it, and so we talked about it. So I went and took the test, and I found out what my strengths were. I'm just going to open this book up because it lets you put them on there so you can see mine. But again, it's called Strength Finder 2.0. I looked at those strengths. Mine is learner, number 1, and I was like, yep, I love to learn. Number 2, achiever. I thought, yes, I love to achieve. 3, responsibility. 4, input. And 5, command. All right, so those were my top strengths. I read about it. I felt like, yep, that's me. And if you've ever taken any type of personality test, you might feel the same way. You might say, okay, I feel like those are me. I'm a red, I'm a blue, I'm a green, I'm a yellow, whatever the personality test might be. And here's the thing. I wasn't really sure what to do with it after that point. So I just kind of set it aside. Yep, that's me. And went on my merry way. Well, in March, I happened to be at a meet and greet type of thing, and I met this lady, and she was a Strength Finders coach, and I was intrigued. I said, oh, I've taken the test, and tell me more. And we got into a conversation. I ended up doing some coaching with her, and then she actually spoke at my leadership retreat. But here is what I want to share. So often we learn things about ourselves, but we really don't take it the next step on growing in it, okay? And what really helped me see that I needed to grow a little bit more on my personal development in my strength area is when she was talking about our strengths and our weaknesses. So I'm going to use kind of a little scale here, see if I can get this in this picture. These up here are my strengths, these here are my weaknesses, okay? So often these seem easy, and so we just kind of, we don't necessarily work in that area. We're not really working on that area because it's easy, okay? But these are our weaknesses, and so often that's what we focus on. I'm not very good at this, I'm not very good at that. And so what we do is we work on this area, and here's the thing. The best we can ever get with our weaknesses is what she said was mediocre. Whoever wanted to be mediocre, right? And I really looked at things I was struggling on, not only in my business, but just in life, that I was really, really working on maybe being something I'm not or somebody I'm not, because you see these people do things a certain way and you're like, man, I bet if I do that, I'll get to diamond. Maybe if I do that, I'll get to crown diamond. Maybe if I do that, I'll get to royal crown diamond, right? So there's things that we see other people do, and if they're working in their strengths, it seems really, really easy, and we don't understand why we're so frustrated with, because it's just not quite so easy for us. And often, as she told me, it's because we're working here in our weaknesses, and we're trying to get up here to our strengths, but it's really hard. These are our strengths. But here's the thing, guys. If we start working up here on our strengths, we have no ceiling. We can just keep going and going. These can get stronger. These are never going to get any higher than our strengths because they're our weaknesses. They're just not there. All right? So a lot of times we think of our gifts and our strengths as things that are talents, like, you know, singing or music and things. And those are talents. And we can continue to work on those, and we can get better. And in a way, same with our strengths. But those are a little bit different. Just a little bit different. Okay? So as I went on with my coaching with her, she just helped me understand a little better about what those strengths meant for me. And I'm going to kind of give you some of my aha moments just because they were my aha moments, all right? So learner. I have always loved to learn. I knew that that was a strength of mine, okay? But I still often felt guilty, all right? I love to read. And when we were going through a coaching session, one of the things she said one day is she said, oh my gosh, I bet you read probably an hour and a half to 3 hours a day to get your energy. I'm like, to get my energy? Tell me more. I would love to read an hour and a half to 3 hours a day. Truth be told, I probably do read an hour and a half to 3 hours a day in little bits and pieces through the day in different ways. I homeschool my kids, so sometimes it's reading to them, sometimes it's reading for myself, sometimes it's reading my emails, reading, right? But when I really get energy is when I am learning. So right now I have you on my iPad, and underneath it is the book, The Chemistry of Essential Oils Made Simple. And yes, I have read it from the beginning to the end. Maybe Cody Lynn is the only other person that has done that. No, I don't know if she has or not, but I know she loves to learn. And so I share that because I would feel guilty that I was spending time that maybe, one, I needed to be spending with my family, two, maybe I need to be spending on the business, learning and spending my time. What she helped me understand is because that is where I get my energy. If I am not doing that, then I am not going to be energized. I am not going to be passionate. I'm not going to be me. All right. And what that did is it allowed me to take off that guilt. Okay. And I'm not saying that my family was putting that guilt on me. It was something I was personally doing. And so it's kind of funny now when I'll go into my room, I love to read on my bed. I'll just say, hey, I am going to go fill myself up with some energy. Okay. And that is an oil too, but I'm talking about learning through reading a book maybe. So that was one thing that was really eye-opening to me. Another thing that I found really eye-opening is that how our strengths are often perceived by ourselves or others as a weakness, okay? So I am going to use responsibility for that, okay? a lot of times I take on the responsibility that really belongs to somebody else because that is one of my strengths. I assume, okay, since I take responsibility for everything that I do, that others are going to feel the same way. But if that is not where they are on the scale, maybe to say, responsibility may not be one of their top areas of either strengths or just values and concerns, okay? And so then I may be judgmental to them for something that isn't their strength, it is mine. The third thing I want to talk about is my command. So for years I was called being bossy, all right? And so I just stopped wanting to use my strength of command, even though it's a great one to have as a leader, right? And a lot of people look to me as a leader and for my commanding skills. We're going to be doing a rally pretty soon, and this coming Saturday, actually. I just spent the day in meetings for that. And it comes in handy. So today we all girls were wanting to talk, and I just kind of said, hey guys, we need to get busy, and when we do all of going through the PowerPoint and stuff, then we can have our girl talk. It allowed me to use that. But one of the things, again, that I learned from going through the coaching process on my strength is that command typically comes up when there is chaos, and when everybody else is falling apart is when I am at my best. And it's the truth. I have found that in my life in many times, in many ways, is that I am able to kind of come about and be able to take care or control or command of the situation when everybody else may feel like they just can't take care of it at that time, even though they might be normally able to handle it in a decent fashion. So that is to say, I have 5 strengths, but I have a lot more, right? And she kind of goes over talking about, the book does too, about how we kind of work in our top 14 strengths. But what I'd like to talk about now for just a minute is another part of this that I learned working with another Crossline friend named Sunshine Goodfellow. Her and I, we call each other accountability partners. We work together on things like we're having an event this weekend. We're working together on that. But her and I are complete opposites. And when I say complete opposites, I mean on any test we've ever taken, we are complete opposites. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a good thing. Because what I learned from the coaching session, and actually Sunshine did some coaching sessions too, is that those people that their strengths are our weaknesses and our weaknesses are their strengths, we need each other. All right. I'm a very independent person, and I'll be honest, I didn't know that I needed anybody except for God. All right. In my first 20 years of marriage, I've been married 26 years, maybe my first 15. I wasn't even sure if I needed my husband. I'm independent. All right. And that's not always good. We need people, especially in this type of business, to do this. We need to work together as a team. Right. So what I've learned is how the things that often drive us crazy when people are different than us, sometimes it drives us crazy. So I'm going to go back to responsibility again, all right, just because I brought that up just a second ago. So responsibility is my number 3, and that's a little bit lower, like maybe the bottom 5 of my friend Sunshine. And that doesn't mean that she's not a responsible person. It's just not one of her top 5, all right, strengths. But she has these strengths that are on the bottom of my 5. Down here, my weaknesses, those areas that I kept thinking because I love Sunshine, and maybe in the back of my mind I thought, well, if I'm more like her, such and such, right? ... And she was thinking if I was more like Shauna, then ... right? And what we found is I don't need to be Sunshine, and Sunshine doesn't need to be Shauna. We can work together. And she works in her weaknesses, or she works in her strengths, which are my weaknesses, and I work in my strengths, which are her weaknesses, and we fulfill that area, all right? Add more people, and guess what? You fill more areas with strong things instead of everybody working in their weaknesses. So I say that because I did a leadership retreat, and I was like, I want to know what my leader strengths are and how we can work together as a team. And so I'm going to go over a couple things because I just thought what we did was quite amazing and fun. And I'm not going to go over everything because of time, but I want to go over a few things. So number one, just knowing what our strengths are is the first step. So you guys can do that. You can go get Strength Finder 2.0 and do that, right? But you can also get an app that allows you to find out what your other friends and your other team members, or me and my husband did it too, what their strengths are, and you can put it into the app and you can see where you are. If you get the book, you just find out your top 5, but you can get online, and when you take the test, it'll let you upgrade it. And you can get all 34, which means you're going to see all your strengths in order. They don't really call the bottom ones weaknesses, but just for ease of what else are those lower ones, I'm just going to call it a weakness, okay? So one of the things that we went over when I was doing this coaching session is just what some of these mean for talent-wise, our strengths, how we utilize them, especially in business, okay? So I shared that my number 2 is achiever. And what I found really interesting, guys, is I have achiever was one of the top strengths for my leaders. I had 10 leaders with achiever as one of their top 5. I had, I think, 34 people at my that did the test that was at the leadership retreat. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about achiever for just a minute. It's a highly productive person, high work ethic, high achiever. All right, if that makes sense in business, right? Okay, but what if you have somebody that's not a high achiever? Does that mean they're not going to do well in this business? No, and we'll learn more in just a minute. All right, I talked about command being my number 5. I was actually the only person at the leadership retreat that had command, and that is not abnormal either, because most people that have command are more on the top of, not the top leader, because I have leaders above me, right? But I'm going to be the one that is going to maybe be leading something such as a leadership retreat, all right? So command, a natural leader, brings clarity during times of chaos and confusion. Now, I will say, having command, if you had 5 commanders, all at a leadership retreat, it would probably be a little chaotic, just because they would all want to be in charge. So another one, input. All right, so I have both learner and input, and I was kind of told like those two together, it's kind of like, I just started wearing glasses, but they fit for the nerd, so I'm just going to kind of say makes me a little nerdy being both learner and input. But input gathers, sorts, archives data and information, collects things of interest and passion, photographic memory. Here's the thing, my photographic memory is about the things that I want to remember. My photographic memory does not work for me in areas that I am not interested in at all. When it comes to oils, yes, photographic memory. When it comes to people that I meet, when it have a good response or reaction or relationship with them, then I tend to remember them. All right. Learner, remember that was my top one. Loves process of learning. I just love the fact that I'm learning. Like, it doesn't even matter necessarily what it is that I did. I mean, it's things I choose to learn about, but it's the process of doing it, okay? Depth of knowledge, intellectual, maybe educator or a writer. And I would definitely call myself an educator, and I hope to one day be a writer. And then the last one we were talking about earlier was responsibility. Takes psychological ownership of any project they're given, own it and control all pieces, okay? So that's me. Those are my strengths. And again, there are 34 different ones, and so I just kind of have this sheet here that lists all the different ones that you would find out if you went to Strength Finders. But again, I knew that. I already knew that about myself. What was interesting is when I got to start learning about my team members, okay? So I told you that I had 10 team members that had Achiever listed as their top 5. I had 10 with responsibility. I have responsibility, right? I had, let's see, my next top number was probably belief in themselves. Oh, learner was high too with 9, input with 9, okay? Not necessarily the same people all in the same order, but we all had that. And there's different things that go with our strengths. So some strengths fit under what's called a doer. I am definitely a doer because 2 of my 5 strengths actually fit under doer. And a doer is somebody that, that's how they feel that they're being productive in life. Then we have nurturers. All right. So it allowed me to see what people on my team were more of the doers, because if I'm expecting something done, I'm going to want to go towards the people that have more of the doer strength, right? But what about our nurturers? I am not a nurturer. My husband and I took this test, and he's the nurturer out of us, and it makes total sense of why my kids go to him if they're not feeling well instead of mom, because I'm going to tell them what to do, and he's going to love on them, right? So nurturers, again, when I am looking at a task to be done for maybe our passion rally this weekend that we're having, I'm going to be looking for my nurturers to be the ones that are meeting and greeting people, where my doers are the ones I'm going to be having do the chairs and the tables and all that kind of stuff, right? And then we have our thinkers. That's where 2 other of my strengths lie. I am a thinker. Actually, I don't know if you can see, but I have a thinking chair right behind me. It was one of John Maxwell's things, and so I have a thinking chair. But I want to know who my thinkers are. If I'm going to be getting together with some people and we're going to be thinking out maybe what we're going to be doing this next year, those are the strengths that I want to be looking towards, right? Okay, and then there's the promoters, and I have one. It's my number 5 command is under promoter. But the promoters are the ones that you're wanting to ask to be the ones to invite to your events, right? They're the ones that are going to get out there. I have one of my leaders. She is a promoter in 2 different areas. And when I saw that, I was like, yep, because she is the one this weekend. I don't know that she has the most people coming to this rally, but you know what? She has promoted it, and she has let them know, hey, when you get there, find me. I've got a gift for you. She's been promoting it everywhere. Here I am, one of the event coordinators, and I have not been the promoter that she has been, because that is her strength. All right, so I hope this is helping you guys a little bit, just seeing how we can get it. That was called strengths discovery, just by figuring out those, there's 34, bringing those back into a little smaller area, whether we're a promoter. We are all a little bit of everything. As you could see, I was everything but a nurturer, okay? And then some other fun things I'm going to show you real quick is I like graphs, all right? And this right here just showed me my leaders that was at my retreat, that some are more strategic, more are relators, that's our nurturers, and more total executing, that's more of our doers. That little red, that there are my promoters. So if I am looking at the people that I need more of, I need more promoters, right? So just to kind of give me an idea, these are just people I had at my retreat. This doesn't mean this is all the people from my team, okay? And then if I looked at all of our different strengths, I loved this. This was all of our strengths put into a little wheel here, and how we're all these beautiful colors together. This is a team right here. That's a team, okay? We don't want to be all the same. We want to have all of our strengths working together, okay? So the last thing I want to share with you was probably, to me, the most exciting part about utilizing the Strength Finders is she went through what she calls the I bring, I give, I serve, I contribute, all right? Again, guys, we have these wonderful strengths and talents, and so often we are focusing on the wrong thing, our weaknesses. We need to focus on what we can bring to the table. So, as an achiever, I bring high productivity, all right? But what can I give? I give ethically to others. How do I serve? I serve others productively. I contribute my strengths, talents, and gifts to others. She uses communication. That is a strength, okay? She says about her, this is the coach that we had, she said, I bring stories that entertain and inspire. I bring information to life. I bring expression to writing and animation to presentations. I give education. I serve those who are open to hearing. I contribute to others through excellent communication, all right? when we started going through this as a team about what we could bring to the table, not only for our own business, but as a team and to the world and to our family, guys, we felt good. I'm just going to be honest. And so I wanted to share that with you guys because I know for me, I so often love to hear other people talk about their businesses and what they're doing. And then I'm thinking, because I'm a thinker, right? Should I start doing that? And I realized, you know what, I'm not very good at that. And then I work really hard, or I read lots of books and I study, and I try really, really hard, but best I get is mediocre. But when I work in my strengths, these things that I'm good at, man, there's no stopping me. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Again, you can go to get the book called Strength Finders 2.0, or you can just go to look up Strength Finders and go straight to their website. If you do it straight from their website, you will get a code and be able to pay for it and get an ebook instead of a hard copy. So either way, I highly recommend that if you are wanting to know more about how this works with you and your leaders and stuff, that you get a coach. If you're interested in learning more about the coach that I have right now, Rhonda Boyle, I'm happy to share that information with you guys. Again, my name is Shauna Kell, and I hope you have a great, great day. Bye.